Kia ora, my name's Peter Goodwin. I'm the driver for Team Pirates. The team consists of 4 people. We've got Ian Burke and Warren, who are both the mechanics, and my able passenger is Kendall Dunlop. We run 2 LCRs, one we call the GUR, and that's because Glyn Rogers actually left some money in a will, and that's why I decided to buy another LCR. So in recognition of that factor, we call it the GUR, which probably suits my personality. And we've also got the Claffey. The Claffey is another LCR that was bought indirectly from Klaus Klaffenbach, and that actually won the World Championship in 2001. We also have additions to the stable, albeit we're not riding them too much at the moment. We've actually got the MRE with the 600 R6 in it, which is currently been used by Team Carl Cox and Greg Lambert, and they're riding it today, with Julie Caneper on the back. And we've also bought and acquired a classic BMW for riding at some time in the classic rounds. Team Pirate, it's an acronym I suppose it's come from myself. I used to do grass track, and I used to do road racing after that, and because I always wear the bandana, everybody started calling me Pirate, and the name stuck. And I suppose with the Pirates of the Caribbean, that's added to it, and I think it's quite good. It suits the demeanour of the team. I'm the mean and grumpy one, and the others are all the happy and the positive people. We currently rode last week at Ruapuna, had a good day. We were second in the first 2 races. We actually won the last race, which you could argue was a little bit lucky, because unfortunately Team Carl Cox, Baz and Tracy unfortunately hit the wall. And so it's actually not the way that I'd like to win the race. I'd like to beat them on the track. They're running about 45 brake horsepower more than us at the moment, so I think I can challenge Baz if we got a little bit more power, but we'll see what money brings to change that. Basically, I'm very lucky in so much that whilst I actually try and supply the money, which there's never enough of, the 2 mechanics, Ian and Warren Burke, they're the ones that do all the bike prep. I live in Auckland, or the other side, North Shore Auckland. The 2 guys, they live in Edgecombe and Whakatane. So it's a 4-hour drive at least for me to visit the bikes. So I get down when I can, but because of my job, which invariably means 7 days a week and working shifts as a corrections officer at Parimo Maxi, then obviously my time is very limited. But I try to give them what support I can. We sit down, decide what money we've got. Consequently, then we decide where we can afford to spend some money. Tyres obviously are a big input in this game. Basically, it's a tyre meeting at $500–600 a time, then most of my money tends to go to that. Today, obviously it's Friday and it's just a practice. We had some problems with one of the bikes last week, so primarily it was to ride the GRR and see if we solved the problems on that, which we have. Having said that, the rep counter and gear change, which shows you what gear you're in, stopped on that lap, which didn't really help. It's really a bedding in lap for us because Kendall's never ridden down here before, and I've not ridden down here for a couple of years, and it's quite wet, particularly on the far side of the track, so it was just a steady away practice just to see the bikes running okay, which it seems to be primarily. Claffey, that will be going out in the next practice. As you've seen, unfortunately, it's rained like hell in the last half an hour, so it's more about actually taking the tops off our brand new tyres so they're fit for the competition tomorrow and Sunday. Sponsors, sadly I have none other than me, but having said that, I've got to thank obviously GRR, Glyn Rogers, for leaving me the money to be able to buy a second bike, and arguably my mother and father have been dead a long time, but I've used monies that were left to me to keep me racing, because it's the only thing that keeps me sane.